Expedition X Season 10 Episode 2, titled Ireland's Alcatraz, is one of those episodes that grabs you from the very first minute and doesn't let go until the credits roll. If you're a fan of supernatural investigations, haunted history, and the thrill of exploring places most people would never dare to go, this episode is a must-watch. Josh Gates, the mastermind behind the show, sends his trusted team, scientist Phil Torres and paranormal researcher Heather Amaro, on a chilling journey to Spike Island, a place with a reputation for being one of the most haunted locations in all of Ireland. The episode is packed with suspense, eerie encounters, and a deep dive into the mysteries that have made Spike Island infamous as Ireland's Alcatraz. The episode opens with Josh Gates setting the stage for what's to come. He teases the audience with glimpses of the island's dark tunnels, unexplained noises, and the kind of supernatural activity that makes your skin crawl. Heather and Phil are ready to take on the challenge, and from the very beginning, it's clear that this isn't going to be a typical ghost hunt. Spike Island is a place with a long and brutal history, having served as a prison for centuries. Its walls have witnessed countless tragedies, and many believe that the spirits of those who suffered there still linger, unable to find peace. As soon as Heather and Phil arrive, the atmosphere is heavy with anticipation. The island itself is isolated, surrounded by cold waters and shrouded in mist. The team wastes no time and begins their investigation in the abandoned prison, where the stories of hauntings are most intense. The first thing that strikes them is the sheer scale of the place: long, echoing corridors, cells that haven't been touched in decades, and a sense of being watched that never quite goes away. Josh narrates their progress, adding context and historical details that make the investigation even more compelling. One of the first major moments comes when Heather and Phil explore the infamous House of Dr. Death. This abandoned building is said to be the site of gruesome autopsies and dark medical experiments. Locals whisper about a murderous surgeon who once lived there, and the team is determined to find out if his spirit still haunts the place. As they move through the overgrown village, the tension builds. Heather describes the area as a house of horrors, and it's easy to see why. The buildings are crumbling, nature is reclaiming the land, and every step feels like it could lead to a new discovery or a new danger. Inside Dr. Death's house, Heather and Phil conduct a spirit box session, hoping to make contact with any entities that might be present. The responses they receive are chilling. Words like covel, felp, and pain come through, suggesting that whatever is haunting the house is not at rest. The spirit box seems to confirm the legends, and the team is left with more questions than answers. They also hear unexplained tapping noises, which seem to follow them from room to room. At one point, Heather wonders if the spirits are trying to get their attention, and the sense of unease grows. The investigation takes a dramatic turn when the team decides to explore the tunnels beneath the prison. These tunnels are said to be the most haunted part of Spike Island, with reports of shadow figures, sudden temperature drops, and the feeling of being chased by unseen forces. Heather and Phil descend into the darkness, armed with thermal cameras, EMF meters, and a healthy dose of courage. The tunnels are claustrophobic, with walls that seem to close in the deeper they go. The temperature remains stable at first, but suddenly drops by 20 degrees in less than a minute, a phenomenon that witnesses have described as a sign of paranormal activity. As they move through the tunnels, Heather and Phil hear metallic scraping sounds, reminiscent of chains dragging across concrete. This matches the stories of Henry Swears, a notorious prisoner who escaped twice and is said to haunt the island, dragging his chains behind him. The team uses audio analysis software to compare the sounds they hear with known sources, and while some noises are debunked as flagpoles banging in the wind, others remain unexplained. The scraping sounds in the punishment block, abandoned cells, and tunnels are eerily similar to the sounds associated with Henry Swears, adding another layer of mystery to the investigation. Throughout the episode, Josh Gates provides historical context that enriches the story. He explains how Spike Island was once home to British explorer Percy Fawcett, who became obsessed with the occult after spending years on the island. Fawcett conducted seances, tried to communicate with the dead, and eventually disappeared in the Amazon while searching for a lost city. The connection between Spike Island and Fawcett's later life adds a fascinating twist, suggesting that the island's supernatural influence extends far beyond its shores. The team also meets with local witnesses in the nearby town of Cobb, gathering stories from guides and visitors who have experienced strange phenomena on Spike Island. These accounts include sightings of shadow figures, feelings of being chased in the tunnels, and unexplained noises that seem to follow people wherever they go. The witnesses describe the abandoned village as a place where you're not welcome, and their stories reinforce the sense of danger that Heather and Phil feel during their investigation. After regrouping in Cobb and taking a much-needed break, Heather and Phil return to Spike Island for another night of exploration. They set up security cameras behind Dr. Death's house, hoping to capture evidence of the sounds they heard earlier. The investigation continues in the tunnels, where they use digital thermometers and EMF meters to track temperature changes and electromagnetic activity. The Ovilus device, which converts environmental readings into words, produces messages like Felon, Vel, Evil, echoing the Spirit Box session from earlier. The climax of the episode comes when Heather and Phil experience a series of intense paranormal events in the tunnels. They hear footsteps behind them, feel sudden blasts of cold air, and sense that something is chasing them out of the darkness. The temperature drops to 44 degrees, far below the stable readings from earlier, and the K2 meter spikes repeatedly. The team feels like they're being pushed out of the tunnels, just as witnesses have described. The sense of urgency is palpable, and Heather and Phil make a hasty exit, sliding down a steep slope and emerging at the water's edge outside the prison walls. The ending of the episode is both satisfying and unsettling. Heather and Phil reflect on their experiences, wondering if the spirits of Spike Island were trying to chase them away or help them escape. They review the evidence they've collected, including the mysterious face captured in a photograph, the unexplained noises, and the chilling messages from the Spirit Box and Ovilus. Photography experts analyze the image of the face, confirming that it cannot be explained by digital artifacts or physical presence. The face matches descriptions of the Gaunt Gunner, a ghost with dark voids where his eyes should be. Josh Gates wraps up the episode by acknowledging the impact that Spike Island has had on everyone who visits. The island's history of pain, suffering, and death seems to have left a permanent mark, and the supernatural encounters experienced by Heather and Phil are just the latest chapter in a long and haunted story. The episode ends with the team celebrating their escape from Spike Island, enjoying a well-deserved break and reflecting on the unforgettable investigation. Expedition Xstain ESO 2, Ireland's Alcatraz, is a masterclass in paranormal storytelling. It combines historical research, scientific investigation, and genuine suspense to create an episode that is both entertaining and thought-provoking. Heather and Phil's courage and professionalism shine through, and Josh Gates' narration adds depth and context to every moment. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, this episode will make you question what's possible, and maybe even inspire you to explore the stranger side of the unknown.